Hey guys, this is going to be part two of the 2023 offensive weapons projections for the Baltimore Ravens. This is the second video in a series of three. First video we covered was the wide receivers. This video is going to be covering the tight ends. So for this video, we're really only be covering the three main tight ends for the Baltimore Ravens, which is going to be Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and Charlie Kolar. Hopefully we get a healthy series out of a healthy season out of all three of these guys. There's always going to be some guys that get banged up, sometimes that they might miss. Even if it's saving them for another game or going into the bye, people might miss some time. So, jumping right in for Mark Andrews last season, he did have a little bit of a down year for him. He did miss some time due to injury, and he also, I think, was not as effective as he could have been for a number of reasons. First off, even sometimes when he was out there, it didn't seem like he was playing at 100%, and he wasn't as effective towards the end of the season. He's still Mark Andrews. He's still one of the best tight ends in the league, if not the best. There could be an argument made for that. So last season he played in 15 games. He had 73 receptions for 847 yards, 11.6 average yards per reception, and then 5 touchdowns. So still not a bad year, but for him, statistically down from the past couple seasons. This season, I do have him still around 60 to 70 receptions. I think he gets a little bit of his target share cut into just because there's so many mouths to feed, and I think they're going to utilize Bateman, Beckham, and Flowers a lot. So I do see a little bit of a reduction in his receptions. Not too much because I do think we are going to be passing the ball more. I think Lamar is going to get a lot more attempts in each game. But that being said, if rushing the ball is working and we're running all over people, that might change the game plan. We might not need to go to the air quite as much, but Andrews is always going to be that safety valve over the middle or even along the sideline sometimes. So, I do see him getting anywhere between 700 to 800 yards. Again, I think limited opportunities. He'll be more efficient, but I don't think he'll be, setting any personal records or flirting with 1,000 yards. His touchdown numbers, though, I do think are going to go up. I think he's going to be closer to the 7 to 9 touchdown range. So I think he's going to be very effective in the red zone. Again, having Beckham in there is, I think, really going to actually help his production because it gives somebody else on the opposite defense to cover. He's not going to be drawing the number one and the safety. They can't double cover him every single play. Next up, Isaiah Likely. He had a good preseason last year, and everyone kind of expected him to just continue that into the regular season. I was really excited for him. I was really hyped for him, especially considering the mystery status around how Nick Boyle was doing and what his situation was. So having Isaiah Likely, really be a viable number two option, especially in the Roman offense, was nice. But I didn't think him going against number twos, number threes, and potentially number fours and doing really well meant that he was going to come out and just make such a seamless transition to playing against number ones. So I do think he'll have similar numbers, I think, to Charlie Kolar in this, anywhere between 30 and 40 receptions. Let me bring up his numbers real quick. So last year, Isaiah Likely he played in 16 games, 36 receptions, 373 yards for 10.4 yards per reception and 3 touchdowns. So I don't really see his targets going up that much, but I do see his yards going up. I have him in here this is going to be a bit of a wide range, but I have him being here anywhere from 300 to 500 yards and 3 to 5 touchdowns. A lot of the range in yards has a lot to do with his yards after catch. He's been very elusive with the ball, very good in space, and he has a really good first step after making the catch right into being an athletic runner with the ball. So I think that bodes well for his yards after catch. Charlie Kolar is the number 3 tight end in this offense, and I can't say I know exactly what I think his real role is going to be in. But again, I just limited action last year. Do have his stats up here. He played in 2 games, even though it only seemed like he played in 1. 4 receptions, 49 yards for 12.3 yards per reception, but no touchdowns. So, his potential, who knows? Being that bigger body guy, he might be in for a heavy set, especially in the red zone. Having him and Mark Andrews out there could be a pretty good challenge if he's able to get any sort of separation, in the back of the end zone or whatever. I do, even though I'm saying I'm not sure what he's going to do, I do think his production is going to mirror slightly Isaiah Likely. I think they're going to kind of have this fun little who is the number 2, who is the number 3 tight end the whole season. So I have him sort of around the same numbers, 30 to 40 receptions, 300 to 400 yards. I don't think he's getting as many yards because I don't know how he looks after the catch. We know Isaiah Likely is dangerous with the ball in his hands. Charlie Kolar might be more so or less so. It's hard to tell at this point. But I do still have him in the same range of 3 to 5 touchdowns just because I think he's more of a red zone threat with his size than Isaiah Likely is. So, not to say Isaiah Likely is small, he's a tight end. But I think they really want to utilize Charlie Kolar's massive size and wingspan in the red zone. So, the last piece of this, we just covered the 3 regular tight ends. I say regular because I don't know what's going to happen with Patrick Ricard. Like, he's injured right now. I'm recording this on July 21st, 2023, and he's injured right now. He's not participating in any of the practices. He might be starting the season out on the PUP list, but I don't know. I mean, he's in year 2 of a 3-year deal with the Ravens, and I just don't really know what his role is going to be. I don't think he's a receiving threat. So if he's out there on the field, it's going to be too predictable if he's just going to be blocking the entire time. And I've heard several people say, like, oh, well, he could just be a blocking tight end, and that's essentially what he was last season, right? And there's a lot of the fan base, myself included, I think it's almost a little bit of a waste to have him run out into the flats, catch a pass for like 3 or 4 yards, and then him rumble down, and that's a pass that could go to Zay Flowers or Nelson Aguilar or any of the regular 3 tight ends that can do that and more with the ball. I just don't think once he gets the ball in his hands, he's not really a threat, right? Like, what to expect with him after the catch. He's just going to go straight forward, run into a few people, and then go down. Yeah, I don't know what Patrick Ricard's spot, if it is there, is going to be on the team. So we'll have to see. But for the 3 tight ends, I think they could be good, right? I think their total yardage is going to be anywhere from about 13 to 1,800 yards, and they'll probably be right in the middle of about 10 to 15 touchdowns. So I don't think you'll see crazy production out of them that you might see out of a Greg Roman offense, but that's also because we've added 3 legitimate weapons to the wide receiver room. So that wraps up the tight end video. Next video coming out is going to be about the running backs, and we'll finish up this series, and then I'll do a couple more prediction videos. But that's going to be Jordan signing out. Bye.